this story better be bloody interesting.
Yeah. Now I'm waiting to make a new weight.
That's all good. No stress, mate. We have got all the time in the day.
We have all the time. All right, how are the levels, mate?
They're a lot better.
What's the name of the podcast again?
Grin and Podcast.
You're going to start it with the turning logo.
You got to teach me how to do that.
All right, I'll work it out. I'll work it out, bros.
But yes, I think we definitely need the spin. Did you like the brain in the background, the colours?
I like the colours. When you showed me the colours, it was set off.
Yeah, I
liked it anyway because I knew the vibes. I know what vibes you're going for.
Yeah.
But once you added the colours, I was like,
yeah.
Because it's like all things. It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll tell you that story. I knew you'll appreciate this because you're a coach. So I was with THHP yesterday.
Yeah.
On a health project.
Yeah.
Right, hanging out with Matt and Lucy. Well, I jumped on their measure your body fat percentage thing.
Ooh.
We know this is an area of ego here, right? So I usually sit around 12, right? Where do you think I'm sitting at the moment? You've trained with me.
Yeah.
You've trained with me a lot recently. Where do you think I'm sitting?
You're probably sitting, I reckon, probably lower. I reckon about 10.
See, that's what I was thinking. Do you know the numbers that come back?
Let me guess, 14.
15.3.
Oh.
But it can't be accurate, surely.
Well,
my feelings are a little hurt.
What type of machine was
You
it?
stood there, both your heels touched on it, and then it zapped an electromagnetic thing through your body, and then it measured it from that.
Yeah, nice.
I'd almost believe it though, right? Because I usually, when I'm at around 10, 11, 12, I'm around 77, 78 with a great diet. I'm at 80 at the moment because I'm doing a lot of strength, some heavy stuff, and not eating overly clean, right? So I read it, and at first I was like, oh,
rude.
my poor little heart. And then later on I was like, oh, no, that's how I'm eating. What do you reckon? 15, you reckon that's accurate or what?
So depending on the machine would depend on the accuracy. So obviously the more expensive, the more accurate they are.
Yeah.
But if it's an electrical impedance, they're not as accurate as they could be. If it was a DEXA scan and
it's
it said 15,
5% off.
I think that's up to like 2% off a DEXA scan. But those ones the expensive ones can be like 5. So like there's 3% difference in those two like different types of scans.
Yeah.
But that 3% can be massive as well.
Yeah. So anyway, there's my fun story for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, last time I got measured, you'd think I'd be well under 10.
Yeah, I would have said 9.5 or something.
Yeah. I was like 14, 12 or 14 or something.
With the current rig that you're in?
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
I don't believe it either.
I disagree with that.
But also I've heard that those, because it was one of those electrical ones, like similar to what you did, but you had to hold it with your hands.
Yeah, I like those ones.
Yeah. I heard if it gets under 10%, like if you're under 10%, it can't read it properly. So I don't know how true that is.
Well, they had a part of the program, because an app on a phone that connects to these scales. There's scales, right? Yeah. The app on it basically, they also choose like a mode that's like athlete.
Yeah.
They choose a mode that's athlete. I'd also just smashed a pizza and didn't fast for 2 hours beforehand.
Yeah.
Which you're supposed to do. So there could be a few things. Does it cause a 5-degree variance?
Probably not.
I don't know. You know what causes that 5-degree variance?
Eating pizza all the time.
Eating pizza.
It's
exactly
right. It's
right.
not doing the work beforehand.
Not doing the work.
No.
It's exactly right.
So the reason I actually got you as first person is pilot man, is because all of the technical things. I was like, if anyone's going to be able to help me, it'll be lucky.
If anyone can help you, bro, I've got you.
Exactly. I was just like, Lockie will sort it out if I can't figure it out.
But you came in, you set up, you told me how far to sit from the mic. I knew already, but you know, like
it's
you're on it, bro.
Things.
You're on it.
Yeah.
You're on it. I feel like you've got it covered. You've got a good setup with the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mate.
You've done well.
Mainly from your help. I'm like, hey, Lockie, how do I do this?
So you're going to go around and get like local business people, anyone worth a chat or mates?
People that I find interesting, to be honest. And it's just going to be like a chat.
I'm just technical support, though.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm 15% body fat and technical support, bro.
Your IT support. Have you tried turning it off and on?
Yeah, right. Yeah, hit the switch. Yeah.
Nah, so anyone I feel like has an interesting story, or catching up with mates and just having shit talk, really, having a yarn.
Yeah.
Again, so like for me as well, like I like more in-depth conversation. I'm
Me too.
not much for that
Shallow
superficial stuff,
Yeah.
which a lot of people you are on that level with.
Yeah.
But I find if we're going to be doing it, if I'm doing this, it'll be easier to then lead that into, say, that more in depth and getting a better connection with that person.
Nice, bro.
Yeah. So just learn a bit more about their backstory.
Love it.
So, that being said,
yeah,
where do you want to start? Where do you want to start?
Bro, I'm happy to start anywhere.
Start at the start, I guess.
We can start anywhere.
When were you born?
When was I? 95, bros. I'm 25.
25. What time were you born?
12:05
midnight.
PM. I was due afternoon, noon. 12:05 noon. Yeah. That actually played. Funnily enough, my mum is all over that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I went to see an astrologist the other day, and you need to know the time. Well, we spoke about
this.
We did speak
about
this. That's why you are. You need to know that stuff. So I'm all over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is quite funny because I was talking to a girl and she's like, "Oh, I just want to do like your astrology chart." I was like, "Oh, that's okay, weird." And then she goes, "What time were you born?" I was like, "Fuck, I have zero idea."
Yeah.
Text mum, she's like, 8:15. Why?
I love that your mum knows that.
Yeah,
good mum.
It was quite funny. I was just like, it was like pretty much bang on the buck, like straight back, like, why do you want to know what time you were born?
And did she? Yeah, your mum was ready.
Yeah.
Did she read your chart?
She just looked up online. She didn't do. You were talking about like the dials and stuff.
Yeah,
she didn't do that, but that sounds hectic.
Nah, it's next level. It's next level. I caught up with a lady on Derby Street, Nancy.
Yeah.
Pulled out these charts and put them in front of me. And you look at it and it's just Egyptian scroll. And then she reads it to you and she goes, so you were born at 12:05 at this time, which means this degree was something with this planet, which was conjunct Venus. And that's why in 2015, in November, this happened to you. And she gets it right. And it's like, oh.
There was this significant life event that you fell down and hurt your knee.
They know it. It's crazy. She knew that I had an umbilical cord around my neck when I was born.
That is something like you're not just going to research.
It's unrefutable. And she knew it.
Yeah.
You know, and I was just like.
That's part of the reason I think we get along, because we are into like weird, interesting things.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't say I'm into astrology, but then like you are, so you talk to me about it. I'm like, this is interesting. And they'll be like, hey, have you heard about whatever it is? And you're like, no, tell me.
And I'm just like sponge.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
We're what's it called? Renaissance man? Renaissance man?
Yeah.
Yes, we like multiple things.
Oh, is that a term for it? Is it?
Yeah, apparently, because like in the Renaissance, Leonardo da Vinci was like one of the most popular people.
Yeah.
And he did so many different things.
Right.
That's where the term comes from.
So is it Renaissance or
Renaissance? I don't know. Mate,
Renaissance.
I struggle to speak English. French.
Yeah. Renaissance sounds like when you go to that like almost a 4-star restaurant who are trying to be a 5-star and don't really give you good service, but it's all right food, but it was slow, and
they got the concierge.
Renaissance. So.
They got the concierge.
It's like Renaissance with your spring rolls. So. Yes.
You want the fine dining?
That's right. Classic. So what else, bros?
What else?
You can ask me anything. We can go as far as you like.
So
we've gone to birth. We've
started at birth. We may as well move on. So did you grow up in the Hunter region or?
Yeah, so both born in Penrith.
Yes. Well, I was born in Camden, but I'll let that story.
Well, I was born in Penrith, so
I lived in Penrith.
We're both, there's a dog under the table.
Yeah, we've got Mav just joining in. You want to say something, Mav?
He trains with us.
Yeah.
Why can't he podcast with us?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, so we're both from the Bronx.
Yeah.
We're from the street, the same hood. From the same hood, united many years later.
Yeah.
Hunter, 18, 19 years. So I was here when I was 6.
Yeah.
That math almost adds up. So
that sounds about right.
Yeah. So I was here when I was dog.
Quick math, by the way.
Intermission.
Quick math.
Thank you. Yeah. Here all the time. I was in local Catholic schools and then university and joined the army for a short amount of time, and that was a laugh. And then I got out of that and
So were you army or reserves?
Reserves, right? Reserves. But they teach you in there not to distinguish the difference. Because my attitude was always, I'm not putting in the same amount that the full-time guys are. So I'm not as equal. But what they teach you there is to not say something like just reserves, because the reservists say just reserves as well. And they say, no, don't, because reservists die on missions just as full-times do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was
if you go to war, you still go to war. It doesn't matter if you're fucking reservist.
Exactly right. Yeah,
like if someone starts shooting at you,
that's right.
It's fucking, they're not going to be, you're reservist.
He deserves, guys. Just shoot at his feet. So, No, see, the joke was always, we always used to make with the full-times was, we do what you do. It takes half the time. You know what I mean? We do what you do part-time. You know?
Yeah, we do what you do, but faster.
That was always a joke, but no, it is there, yeah. That's interesting.
That is interesting. So were you just like straight infantry or?
I joined right after I was 17 and went straight into, Dad was he was a combat engineer.
Yeah.
Which, 8th CSB, Combat Service Support Battalion is the battalion. So he was a combat engineer. My mum was a combat engineer. I had uncles all throughout all the wars. My brother was a combat engineer. So naturally, I would go for the same role, right? But the Army does this thing where they just allocate you where you want to go. So I was about 0.5 off of the score because there's like 6 different tests you have to do.
Yeah.
A fitness test is a joke. It should be much harder than it is. I laughed. It's easy. I was 17 when I did it, you know.
Had you been training?
Yeah, but you don't need to train for those. The initial standards, the pre-PFA, the pre-fitness assessments,
it's
like
fucking terrible.
10 push-ups.
Because I applied for commandos last year.
That's right.
I didn't get in because of medical reason. But they're like, you need to be able to do like 15 push-ups. I'm like, in how long? Like,
with one arm?
Like,
what's the standard here?
Like 25 sit-ups or 30 sit-ups.
Yeah, it's nothing.
What are we trying to do here? Like,
yeah, the standard's too open.
Yeah, but then you like the more you progress into different areas, there's more. Obviously,
they smash up. Yeah,
fitness assessments.
The pre-fitness assessment is I think it's 6 in the beep test. It's 10 push-ups and 30 sit-ups. And then the BFA, which is a basic fitness assessment, is what you learn at basic training, which is 2.4 Ks. 25 push-ups, and then I think it's 60 sit-ups. It's a little more advanced.
But I'm guessing you're also doing the physical training along with that.
Yeah, they run you every day.
Yeah.
They train you every day for it. So, I mean, I went through reserves, did my basic training, and I got bored. I found reserves to be, I don't know if it's too easy, is not the word, but I just expected a much harder challenge. Like, I wanted to go out and learn all these hard skill sets and do all these things where it was more like I'd just turn up once a week or on weekends and do a course, and then
you might like fiddle around with something.
Yeah, it was a bit boring. I just didn't,
Yeah, so that's like an interesting thing because I was going to go commando reserves to start off with, and then we've actually just closed that pipeline for now. Yeah, we're not accepting anyone. They're like, well, you can go into like normal commandos. Like, well, fuck, if I'm going to do one commando, I may as well just go full time. Well, it doesn't bother me. Didn't pass or like the medical or whatever, but it was just like from what they were telling me from the reserves, it's like you pretty much turn up, you do your few hours and you go home.
You go home, yeah.
Like, do you do a little bit of training or like you hang out the base? Yeah,
like like I was in this is hilarious, right? Like I was in transport and they used to put up volleyball nets between the trucks and play volleyball. And that would be Army's a very weird animal.
Yeah.
And because I ended up in transport, so I was 0.5 off of being a combat engineer.
Yeah.
And usually what they do is they know your family history, they know who's been in the Army, how long. And my father's in for 25 years, Mum in for 8. Both credited with good things as well, with good merit. And so usually, obviously. My brother as well. He was a combat engineer just the year before me, and so they'd look at the score and they just waive it. But I actually think I passed everything, and they said, "Oh, sorry, you're 0.5 off. We'll put you in transport."
Yeah, they probably just didn't have a job.
They needed more people in transport.
Yeah.
So I was bored.
Yeah, transport would be like pretty terrible. I seen some transport dudes the other day at one of the petrol stations, just filling up, and there was like a convoy of like 4 Unimogs.
Yeah, man.
And they just looked like they were not loving life.
No, you don't. I mean, someone's in complete control of you.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I
turn up here. You're going to get fuel here. You're going to do this. And,
do this, do that. I mean, like, and I was always going to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You know, like I left the army because I wanted to grow a beard. The army said you can't.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was the stupidest thing in the world that someone else had control of the hair on my face.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, if you can do your job, I don't see where the facial hair comes into.
No, everything in army plays a role. Like somewhere back in history, some dude didn't have a beard and he did this, and then the standard become a thing. Like that, everything in army has links back to something in its history.
Yeah.
You know, there's a tradition. Why? Like, there's like I think there's one regiment of men that are allowed a beard, and it's because they achieved something for the Queen 100 years ago. Yeah, something like that, right?
Yeah.
And it all links back into history.
Yeah.
I just thought it was all done. I love the reserves. It just wasn't. Love the army. Breeds very good quality of people.
Yeah. Also, like, if you do it for 4 to 8 years, like just your standard enlistment, it sets you up pretty well because in that time you can generally save enough money and get like the discounts in the housing and stuff.
Yeah,
I have a few mates who have done that and they're set up now.
Yeah, yeah, but it does pay well. When I did my basic training, I was 17. They paid me like $2,500 after I did a month of training. I was stoked. 17, $2,500. Woo!
Where else are you get $2,500 at 17?
Exactly, and I bought my first bow with that. That one's there.
That one?
I bought that,
Ooh, nice.
So I bought that with the money I made from basic training. From getting rid of my brain for a month and doing what other people told me. Like, I got $2,500 and a new bow.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, well, I guess that's a good segue. So
let's do it.
You are a bow hunter.
Oh, my shirt says it. Doesn't mean I am.
How did you get into that? Like, where?
This is cool, right? So I always liked bows. Right? I always grew up hunting, shooting. Dad had a gun in our hands when I was 10. Right. Yeah. Some funny stories from back then. A
bit more wild back then.
Or just funny stories. Just like it's a primitive thing, right? It's a very primitive thing, and bows and rifles are very different. And I remember when I was 10 and Dad took us up just to our neighbour's property up here to go get a rabbit because we wanted to have a rabbit on the weekend. And Dad was just teaching us boys the ropes, right? And so we're out there and he's just like a little 22 and goes bang and then puts one down and we're like, oh, like Harry and I, like these two little boys. Like I got a backpack on to carry and the backpack's touching the back of my legs, you know what I mean? Like, we're just small boys. And we're out there and then we go up to the rabbit and then it's just like, it's still like his leg's still kicking and we're sort of just like blatantly watching what's happening. Yeah. And the dad just picks it up. I was just like,
oh.
But 10 years old, Disney-ified. We grew up in such a Disney-ified world now. Everyone thinks animals are so. Mother Nature's this beautiful, friendly thing. Mother Nature's extremely ruthless.
Brutal.
It's ruthless, bro. So, but the desensitization started with that rabbit. And
oh shit!
Yeah. And so we went from rifles, and I always had a bow. Dad was always an archer, so I always had bows. Always fascinated by bows, and it wasn't until I ran into Nick from Ozcut.
Yeah. And Nexus.
It wasn't until I ran into Nick, he really showed me the ropes. Just a bro, just a mate. Become best mates and just took me under his wing.
Yeah, nice.
That's it, and I got good out from there. He just kept putting me in situations with bad weather and animals. And the rule is when I go out there, there's only one rule, and it's do as Nick says. That's it.
If Nick says jump, you don't even ask how high, you just start jumping.
That's it. So Nick will get you everything, the results, everything. Just do as he says.
Yeah.
That's the only rule. So I just took that on and just surrendered when I was with him and alone.
I mean, he's helped me, and I haven't even started hunting yet.
He's a good man. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, you buy this one.
Yeah. Starts with the right tools. Well, that's the thing though with and you know now, like it's so you have to be really on point with the tools, the length of everything. Yeah. Like it is very important.
Well, the first time shooting your bow was a good experience.
Yeah,
but it was about 4 meters from my eye. I'm like, you're like, can you see this? Yeah, sure, I can see that.
The peeps like, I'm 5'8". This is not a long wingspan.
Yeah, well, I'm 5'10", and I've really.
And you have a long arms for 5'10".
Yeah, which is quite funny because Nick's what, 6'1"?
I don't know.
6 foot.
He's
something
tall.
like that.
Yeah, he'd be close. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he's like, oh yeah, this is my wingspan. This is my wingspan. He goes, oh,
Yeah, yours is longer. Yeah, he'd be about 6. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's half an inch shorter drawing.
Yeah, you got a long draw. Yeah, so you got a lot more power to your bow because my bow is actually the same poundage as yours.
Yeah.
Because your draw length is longer. That's why yours shoot like darts and mine have a parabolic.
Yeah, right.
More of a parabolic. That's why.
That makes sense.
I asked him about it the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because is your axle smaller as well?
A little bit, yeah.
So that might also change it?
Yeah, it's definitely draw length, but like
draw length would obviously
everything
change
else is the same. Everything else is the same. My poundage is the same.
Yeah.
But yours go like darts because your draw length is longer.
Yeah,
Just
makes sense.
Pulling that forward.
Yeah. There's more like go in there.
Yeah, I'd love to speak technicality on it. When Nick goes back and watches this, he's going to follow us. So
he'll be like, boys, just don't.
Just don't. Yeah, just don't. Yeah.
Oh well.
But that's it. So that's where I learned. Then Nick taken me on heaps of adventures. So I've been out Merrywall with him, which is out back of Scone.
Yeah.
Black soil, mountainous country. It's always tough. I trained the first time I went out there. I trained legs the day before.
That sounds
not
like
knowing what I was walking into.
Mate, are you trying to be David Goggins?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You got to put in, man. Piece of shit.
His first ultra marathon, his mate was like,
oh, that's
you got to train legs?
Yeah.
All right, and they're doing heavy squats, heavy deadlifts.
And you know from his story how bad of an idea that was. And he was right, it was. So the first time I went out, it was tough.
Mountainous country would be fun to walk up and down afterwards.
Nick on a slow day does like 26 Ks. I don't even know how many floors of elevation. Like it's insane, that country. Every step's either
up,
like
down,
ankle roll or slide, you know, like it's tough country. So been out in Merrywell with Nick. Africa with Nick. Africa was wild, scary country.
I've heard a few stories. But what would you say your number one story from that trip would be?
Oh, there's a few. We're chatting about some last night. For me, it'd be I drew back on the wildebeest. That was very exciting. That was really cool because I got humbled, bro. I got humbled that whole trip. I got humbled that whole trip long. I learned so many things. You don't realize it's like the second it happens, you're like, I should have done that. The lesson is learned, and I'm all gone. The second it happens, like it's so.
I did this fucking part.
Yeah, it's not like an analysis later on. It's like the second it happens, you're like, I fucked that up.
Yeah.
That specific part, you know. And the wildebeest was one where I just didn't have enough experience, just not enough time behind the bow or out in the field. So I was with a guy named Francois. Yeah. Francois was one of the guys there. He was one of the boys guiding us around. There's two main guides. And I was out with Francois this one day because we just split up. So Russell is the other main guide. He owns the business Backcountry Africa, right? So he takes everyone out. Then we split off. So one day Nick and I went together, and those two, and then it was Francois and I this day. Slow morning, didn't see much, and then it wasn't until we got onto the black soil over there. You just walk between red and black. It wasn't until we got on the black soil over there we started to see some wildebeest. The wildebeest are really lazy. They bed up pretty early in the day.
I could imagine it being hot as shit though.
It was hot as balls. Yeah.
Especially on black soil.
It was 40 and hot.
Just all that heat just... Oh.
Yeah, no, it was 40 and hot.
Especially if you want to crawl on that.
Your full camos on, like, backpack on. Yeah, no, it was hot.
How much extra water do you have to carry for this?
My camelback was, I think, 1.5 or 2. And we go out for full days, and that was fine. Yeah. Just got thirsty when I ran out. So, but I was pretty good. I don't think I ever ran out. Yeah. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, not until the afternoon. But so this one day we're going along right, and then Francois just catches a glimpse of something, and it's just one wildebeest. So we're walking along almost like a riverbed, or walking towards one. We get into a riverbed, we see one wildebeest male just bedded up in the sun.
Yeah.
And so we're like, sweet, like let's have a go at him. So we get down the grass. Wind's fine. Wind's good. We get down and crawl on the grass, and we're moving along towards this thing. And it took about 45 minutes for us to get in a good spot. And then when we got into a good spot, we could see like the river started to open up. There was like 10 or 15 of them there, which is always the case. You can only ever see one, and it's the other 15 that see you. You know what I mean? So we got in on this spot. 45 minutes in there. It was like we did a lot of bum sliding. The old, like, you put the bow on your knees and then you push forward on your bum. So we did a bum slide for a while. And then I got in on this one, and it was like there was a hump. There was a hump here.
Yeah.
We were in this ditch on the other side of the hump. So hump and then riverbed and wildebeest, right? We were just on the other side of this hump. We had come down and around and bum slid our way into this hump.
So really fast movement.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, 110% speed. So anyway, so we got into this spot and I didn't have a rangefinder at that stage, so I was relying on the boys. So when someone else, it's just an extra movement you don't have to do. So the boys would range for you and you just use the pin and you stand up and you shoot, right? Sounds really easy. Sounds simple
to me.
Yeah, it sounds definitely so simple. Anyway, and so fronts one, just picked his little head up and just range one. It was at 40. And I'm like, I'm pretty confident at 40. We shot together, I'm confident at 40, right? And so he goes, it was a pretty good spot. Like by the time I would have finished standing up, I was going to be at full draw standing up, 40-meter shot, perfect. It doesn't often happen where you're standing up drawn at full draw. So he goes, bang, 40. So I draw back and then I step up. And just as I step up over and I stand up and just my eyes come over the crest of the hump. Yeah. There's a wildebeest at 20. And just the surprise of me thinking I would see one at 40 and one being at 20, I was like, holy fuck. These things are huge, you know?
Yeah, it's a big beast.
It's a big beast and it's like, oh fuck, like I'm straight in the end zone now. Like it's time to perform, right? Sweet, bring it on. But it was like, oh fuck, wildebeest there. And then it was all right though. So I just adjusted my pin on his vitals. And as I was just adjusting my pin on his vitals, he just took like 2 slow steps forward and put a branch in front of his vitals, right in front of him, right? And they,
you knew.
It's like, it's a small analysis. It's like, do I take the shot? There's branches in front of his vitals.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the only consideration. And it's like, I wasn't confident to take the shot because I was an inexperienced hunter, right?
Yeah.
The inexperience didn't cross my mind at the time. I was just like, I'm not confident to take the shot. The better hunter never takes the shot when they don't feel it.
Yeah.
Never. You're a better hunter for it. You're better off than putting an arrow through something, shoulder blades, and causing some severe pain. So anyway, peeped over the rise, like had my thing on and peeked over it and was like, oh, well, fuck, okay, shit, it's there. It's line it up. And then I was just, as it was walking, I was adjusting my body accordingly. So I was just moving out onto one side and then just my finger on the trigger, feels good, feeling the pressure of it. This thing just goes, kicks some dust up, looks at me, and then there's 15 wildebeest gone in 2 seconds. You know, and that 1 second hesitation of there's a branch in the way, I'm not going to shoot, moving myself forward towards it while contemplating that was just enough time for it to slip.
Yeah.
And it was like I finished, my hands were shaking, I threw my hat on the ground, you know, effing branch this. And I would have had a wildebeest at that, you know. I'm very grateful for the experience. And then I was chatting to the boys later on and showed them footage of the branch, and they're like, "No, you should have just shot." Yeah. You know, but an inexperienced hunter like myself, I just wasn't confident.
Yeah, as well, and like as you said, like a good hunter isn't going to take a shot that they're not confident. If you're not confident in it,
don't take it.
Why potentially injure an animal just for the sake of maybe getting a shot?
Yeah, that's exactly right. You know. Yeah. So that was probably one of the funnest stories. Just I thought I'd see wildebeest at 40, popped up, 1 at 20. Go, okay, we're on.
guess we're getting it amongst it here.
And then about 10 minutes later, and this is a good lesson as well. About 10 minutes later, walk along, and I'm just like, my morale's taking a hit. Yeah. Like, you know, but this is a lesson in this. So my morale taking a hit. So I didn't see the pot of zebras that we were walked 10 minutes on, you know. So if I had been charged how I was myself and not kicking my toys about what had just happened, I'd have been more prepared for the zebra we saw 10 minutes later, you know. So I ended up in a good position as well there, learned a lesson there too. But it was like if I had kept my focus and not kicked my toys, I probably would have got a zebra. Yeah,
that's a massive thing for performance, like in a sport or even in like bow hunting. Yeah, is once there's a failure or once there's a mistake, you can't dwell on the mistake. You need to then focus on the next task at hand. Yeah, which quite evident in the team I'm coaching at the moment. Like they'll get 1 or 2 tries, they'll let them in, it'll be a silly mistake or whatever. But then they're so down on themselves about what they're doing wrong that they're not going, hey, like the next step is we need to kick the ball off. We need to get a good kick return, or make a few good tackles, make a few stops, force them to make the error, and then we're in their half, and we can attack from there. But they're like, oh, fuck, we did this wrong. You're not fucking doing that. And you're so down in yourself, you're not actually focusing on what the hell's happening.
Pull yourself out of the game.
Yeah. So you basically might as well just go sit in the car.
See, I understand that. Like, I understand that on such a deep level. But business is the same.
Yeah,
you run a
100%.
business. Business is the same.
Yeah.
I can be a victim here, and I can kick my toys and feel bad, and then someone calls and you don't come in with a good energy because you're kicking your toys. There's a lot of
and then you either miss getting a new client or miss building that relationship.
Or you miss an opportunity because your eyes are shut.
Yeah,
you know.
You're too worried about shit that's already happened that you can't change.
That's right.
It affects what you can change.
So I learned that 10 minutes after I learned something else. I was very humbled that trip. But that's probably one of my favorite things, was drawing back on that animal. It was a good experience, that.
Obviously, it's a very vivid memory.
Yeah, extremely. Yeah, I remember it. So, those things, nature's so wild, bro. Yeah. Nature's so wild, and it's not until you get up close to it you realise that you are so powerless against any form of nature, whether it's the weather or it's an animal. We're so retarded as humans. Like, we're the worst animal. We're smart-ish.
But we're smart for what we need.
That's right, yeah. That's it. And you put yourself in front of a wildebeest, and it's like that thing's 400 kilos of testosterone and muscle, and all it knows is instinct, and I'm just this little here about to shoot a stick at it. Like, you feel pretty powerless.
All it does is get away from things trying to eat it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right, yeah.
It eats, has sex to reproduce.
That's right.
And then it escapes.
It has a great potential, life. Yeah.
Imagine like that, the roles reversed. Like,
wildebeest with a bow.
Well, like we were getting hunted by animals. Like, how successful do you reckon we would be?
Yeah, well, you put us in the bush? No, at all. In the city, we build machines, we build weapons, we live, we survive. But out there, Mother Nature's cruel. Yeah. Mother Nature's so cruel. I mean, you've seen those videos of an eagle sitting on the back of a deer and just pecking it, and the deer's just can't do anything. It's just being eaten alive.
Yes, it's like trying to live and not get eaten. Yeah, but it can't get it off. It's like
and that's what happens to the animals, and it's so the male lions over there, right? So how it works, basically, and this is a big thing that people don't understand. The hunting industry brings money back into the economy over there and support not only local villages and local people, but they push it back into protecting and preserving the wildlife. That's why it does so well over there. One of the contributing factors anyway. So a ticket for a lion over there could be anywhere between 60, 70 or 100 grand to be able to put a lion down, right?
Is that like US?
Yeah, US Aussie dollar. You know what 100 grand US would do
160
in Africa? Yeah, it's crazy. And it all goes back into conservation, right?
Yeah.
So what happens to the African game scouts are so good. The locals there who track the animals are so good. They know when a male lion's going to get kicked out of the pride, and they say they give it about a 2-week period before that male lion's torn to shreds by hyenas, literally torn apart.
Because
it doesn't have the protection of the pack anymore. That's it. No, it's exile. The pack will keep about a 3 kilometre distance from it. Won't let it get any closer. And they give it about 2 weeks before hyenas just rip them to shreds. Yeah. Literally rip to shreds. And people come over here and badmouth and have a lot of things to say about hunting without being educated on how it works, without understanding that Mother Nature is so cruel.
Yeah.
Mother Nature is very, very cruel.
Yeah. Well, it's going to die somehow.
Yeah, you may as well get 100K, put the lion down, doesn't feel it, doesn't know about it. Lion just takes a bullet. 100K goes back into the economy and gives life to, that allows them to take grazing pressure off of animals like zebras. The zebras survive, and they take grazing pressure off of giraffes, and the giraffes flourish, and you take one lion's life and put 100K into the economy, the lion's going to get a much worse death 2 weeks later. Yeah. I promise you it's a better way.
And it probably feeds people a bit as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if I'd eat lion, but I mean, I'm sure that the people in Africa would
use everything.
Would take what they can.
They use everything. So we, when Nick put down a wildebeest over there, they took one of the guys. His name was Brian. He's one of the locals, right? One of the African locals. He took the stomach lining out, washed it in the river to use as plastic bags.
Damn.
You know, the antlers all get turned into door handles. Bones get used as cutlery.
Yeah.
They use everything. Every part of the animal.
Because they've got it. Like, they've got to be resourceful,
they have
obviously.
to. Yeah, exactly.
They haven't got that much money in the country.
Yeah, it's a scary country. Yeah.
When you first told me you went to Africa, I was like, fuck, that is nuts.
Yeah, no, it was nuts. Even just from the point of, like, you're walking along and you just see black mambas everywhere.
Yeah, right.
They just slither out from beneath your feet. And you're like, oh, there's another black mamba.
Yeah.
You know, just shit like that.
Fuck that.
Just keeps you on your toes the whole time. I opened one of the second place we went, which was Zambia, which we had islands.
Yeah.
I opened my door. Russell had like little huts made for us. This is like a place they used to use as like a tourist location. Right? But it's now hunting grounds. And we get to it by boat. It's like deserted.
Yeah.
So there's like these little huts set up. And I opened my door of my hut up and rolled it over a bush snake. I was just like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And about 2 hours before that, I was napping in like something that was like this shape of this shed.
Yeah.
I was napping and I was like, oh, I finished my nap now. I got up and then 5 minutes after I got up, a snake fell off of the rafter onto the stretcher I was napping on. Yeah. It had like eaten too many mouses or something or mice and just got too fat and fell onto that. If I napped for 5 minutes longer, I had a fucking bush snake fall onto my chest.
I mean, that would have been a fun way to wake up.
Oh yeah, I'd be up. Yeah, I'd be up. So bow hunting's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And obviously, we know each other from fitness.
We do.
We do.
I love fitness.
I love fitness too.
Yeah.
So you started as a teenager?
Yeah, I started. This is funny, right? So I, in about year 8, I remember seeing there was a boy in year 10 who had pecs, right? I never knew what they were. I didn't know anything about musculature.
Like chest.
Yeah, I was just like, I remember this was when MySpace was a thing.
Oh yeah,
I can't. Yeah, MySpace. Yeah, who's your first official friend on that? What's his name? Tom.
Tom
Someone. My first official friend.
Yes.
So anyway, so I took his photo and like he showed Daddy's MySpace, and I said, how do you get them? Like that looks really good. Like, how does he look like that? And Dad's like, oh, you have to do push-ups to look like that. And I was like, oh.
All right, what's a push-up?
Right, and so right now, I think I was about year 8, would have been about 15 at the time. So I've been training about 10 years. And I started with push-ups, and Dad just said, just every day, just put an extra one on. So I do 5 today, 6 tomorrow. So I woke up in the morning, I do 5 in the afternoon, and then I do 6. And then I pushed it to a point where I was doing 172 non-stop. I was about 15, 16.
Holy shit.
I could do that up until I was about 18, then I stopped doing push-ups.
I wonder why.
Yeah, but I could do 172 non-stop.
How long does 172 push-ups in one go take you?
I don't know. I never timed it. But I'm telling you now, the time you get to 172, it's like, it's like that last extension's like, that's a long extension. Yeah. The 172 is as far as I ever got. And my chest developed so much, pulling my shoulders forward, right? And I was really close with my chiro. So at that stage, I was doing that many push-ups every day. I was playing the drums for like 3 hours and dropping body fat there. And then I was boxing to build stamina so I could keep playing the drums. So I was doing a lot of physical exercise. I actually trained so hard, just sweat everything out of my body. So I got to school, and halfway through the day at school, I'd start getting dizzy spells. Things would go blue, and I just go, I can't think. And I thought I was going to pass out. And this sort of went on for a little while. And I ran into my chiro, and he's just a very smart man. People who end up in roles like that are often just switched on across the board, right?
Yeah,
and he goes, you're sweating everything out. So he gave me like different electrolytes, different salts and things to take. And then, and he goes, while we're here, what we're here for? He goes, your chest. He goes, you need to start doing some pulls. He goes, so I go, well, how to do that? He goes, pull up. I go, right. So then I started doing pull-ups, and then I just had like a shelf on my drawer, so I do my push-ups on my floor, and then I had shelves I'd just grab on and do pull-ups, push that to 40, do 40 non-stop.
That's a good effort. I've never done max effort pull-ups, but I reckon I can get past 20.
It just builds over days and days,
100%.
right? So it was months until I could do that. So then I was up to 40, and that was that, and I was like, well, now I want big arms. How do I do that? And so I go to the gym.
Yeah,
then I started training at the gym.
Just basically build it one step at a time. Chest, back, shoulders.
Like one exercise per body part though. It's like push-ups, chest, pull-ups, back. Beautiful. What's next, you know? And And that was it. And that's how I started. And that was 15, 16, 17. And then I started training the gym properly. Yeah. Didn't get good at it until I was 21, 20.
Yeah.
Trained real bodybuilder. All the knowledge.
Everyone does.
I know.
It's so like,
it's awful.
It's the best way to start though. Like really,
you learn the foundations.
You learn the foundations and you learn the movements on specific like push and pull and like legs exercise and stuff. Yeah. It's probably the best way to start people out.
I never thought of it like that. I'd always badmouthed it because of you also start out with the diet they eat.
Yeah.
Chicken and rice.
Yeah. There's nothing in there.
What's that?
I would never really suggest that.
No, myself. Either. Well, and that's why
I've done it before. But
me too. That's how I started.
Yeah,
but because when the knowledge from the industry is, or it's bodybuilding.
Yeah.
But the knowledge from the industry, at least when I started 9 years ago, was eat chicken and rice. Yeah. Awful.
Yeah. No vegetables. Minimal vegetables.
No. Yeah, that's right. No greens. No greens in my diet. Well, there's no greens in my diet, and so I'd be lethargic after 8 hours of being awake. I was 84 kegs and strong.
You were being strong.
Yeah, very strong. Yeah, 84 kegs and strong, but lethargic. Yeah. I'd be awake for 8 hours and then I'd want to sleep.
Yeah, 100%.
You know?
Also, if you're eating like a bodybuilder, this diet, you're eating so much food that you're in a constant state of processing food.
Mm-hmm.
But that's evolved heaps now. Like a lot of bodybuilders do like not intermittent fasting, but do fasts.
Yeah.
And, eat a lot more like health conscious stuff.
Yeah.
So like improve their gut health.
Yeah. It's a lot more widely. It's known now.
It's known a bit more now, which is good. Yeah. But 100%. Most people should start off learning the basics of that. And developing strength in those areas before they move to more of a CrossFit style conjunction.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, I'd never thought of it like that. Because I now like how we've been training. Like I love that's how I train.
Yeah,
I love
100%.
that. I can train like that all the time, all day long. And then when we get bored, we add the bows in.
Yes,
we shoot.
Yes.
So
jack the heart rate. Then try and shoot a bow straight.
Fatigue the shoulders. Jack the heart rate. Shoot a bow straight.
Yeah. Try and sort out. How good was that shot? We did the first session.
The one that went over the fence. So we had to come. Yeah. Straight, but
straight as a
high. Yeah.
Just about probably 10 meters high.
Yeah, straight and high. What about your training, bud, bro? When did you start?
So I started playing like football and stuff.
Yeah.
And then just like part of pre-season was push-ups, sit-ups, running, just the general. This is how you do athlete stuff.
Yeah.
So I started there, and then I'd do stuff at home myself. But then I was also playing like basketball and stuff. So there's a time I was doing some stuff and going to the gym occasionally. But then I was so tired from doing every other sport that I was also getting a lot of reps in that way.
What was your eating like then?
It was very not strict. Very not strict. It was see food, eat food. Yeah. Which is very much the same as right now.
Yeah.
But I would like eat.
Hence why I'm at 15, you're at 14 at the moment. We're not both 10 and 9.
Yeah, 100%. But then so I would come home from school and probably have like 2 hours maybe at home before I had to go play sport.
Yeah.
And I would eat the packs of 5 Nicaraguan.
It's noodles, right?
Yeah. Like the 2-minute noodles, they come in packs of 5.
Yeah,
I'd eat a pack of 5 with cheese.
Yeah.
That'd be like my post school snack.
Empty carbs.
Yeah, well, I just needed it. I did a lot there. And then once I hit 18, I started going to the gym a bit more, and then 19 again, more, and then just progressed. So for the last 10 years, I've been pretty much solid with training.
Yeah.
And just progressed from basic bodybuilding, wanted to get bigger and stronger for football.
Yeah.
Did the bodybuilder split, and then moved to more of a strength and conditioning style training.
Yeah.
Then moved into more weightlifting, so I was doing more like Olympic lifts.
Yeah.
And then now progressed back into more of like a CrossFit strength and conditioning style stuff.
So
adding like trail runs in and just varying it for what I want to do.
Yeah, so it's obviously it's Oh, it's obviously like in your business, right?
Yeah, 100%.
It's obviously your business to do it. But like I know I got good at it. I started seeing my most amount of results when I broke up with my first girlfriend, and it was me training my frustrations, training the emotions out of my muscles, right? Like,
Yeah.
That's what it was. And that's when I went from 72 to 84 in a short amount of time, just because I just went, it was a mental thing for me.
Yeah, it was a mental, it becomes like a stress relief, mental relief, kind of a way to escape.
Absolutely.
Really.
Yeah.
Which obviously can become addiction, which is not great, but I find it's probably better than drinking. Like,
so what for you was it though? Like why for you? Like I could guess, but why?
So I moved when I was 17 from Sydney to Coffs Harbour. Moved to my uncle and finished
from the street that we're both
from the hood.
From the hood,
from the ghetto. And then moved up to Coffs. I was playing rugby more, so just basically wanted to try and perform as best as I could there. And then from there, basically, some issues with like females and stuff, not like breakups and whatever. And then just basically, also I always found that it was, I always felt better, like physically and mentally better if I was training.
Yeah. Easy. Agreed.
Yeah. Just stress relief, really.
So you've done performance-based training. It's all performance-based, but you've done for performance. There's been times when it's been purely just a soul shower.
Yeah.
What other reasons are there to train? There's none.
There's
soul shower performance.
There's so many like minute ways, like reasons to train. But in the long run, there's pretty much two things I think most people do: performance and to look better naked.
Yeah, look better naked. Yeah.
And you don't have to have like, for me, it's not like I want to look like that supermodel or male model or whatever. I want to look the best I can look. Yeah. For as long as I can look it.
Yeah. I completely agree. For me, it's like it's a potential thing. It's like my potential is to look this good all the time, and if I'm not working at my potential across the board, fitness, business, relationships, emotional states, spirituality for me too. It's like if I'm not working at my potential, why am I here? Yeah. So for me to keep the rig in shape all year round, it's just being at potential. Yeah. And I'm never been like overweight. Yeah. I'm sure you're probably the same. Yeah, no. So like for me, business-wise, working-wise, I don't understand. Like I understand weight loss, but I don't understand the mentality behind how you got that big. Yeah. I
so
agree.
I find I can't connect with them because I'm like, eat healthier and just it's
my mindset's like that as well. It's like eat healthy and train consistently. Yeah. That's my mindset.
It's not that I'm trying to be rude to them. It's just
that's how we do it.
That's how I do it. That's what you got to do.
Like, that's right. Yeah.
It's not that I'm trying to be an arsehole and be like, man, you just defend.
No, it's just there's no point in being soft about it. Yeah. Like the way to get the result is to eat clean consistently, train consistently. Yeah. That's in a nutshell. Like I guess like I can see how people would slip into it because it would be a lack of discipline, a lack of good habit building. Yeah. You and I have had that. We built that from a young age. You know?
I think as well, like if you're elite at sports or you play high level sports or multiple sports, you don't have that opportunity to then kind of slack off. Like there is times where like, I would have a week off or here or there because I was so fatigued from so many sports that I just couldn't, like mentally I was just like, I can't do it. Like I'm just not going to go to play basketball or whatever it was. Yeah. And I always find like as soon as I stop exercising regularly, shit just goes bad. Like like it doesn't matter what's happening in my life, it's just in the pits.
See, I go about 3 days. I'll take 3 days off and I'm like, I'm not my best self.
100%.
Like,
that's where I'm at now.
Changes everything.
That's 100% where I'm at now.
Well, we'll hit a sesh after this, bro.
Yeah, we will get amongst it. Yeah. Well amongst it. But that's 100% where I'm at. Yeah. It's just like 2 days I'm like, by the end of the second day I'm like, I need to fucking train. Yeah. I need to fucking train.
Get this right. This is a cool story too. Remember how it was a week before last where like next week would be a good week because we've been smashing our bodies, right? Yeah. Next week would be a good week to have a bit of a deload and have easy sessions, right? Yeah. This whole week that had just passed, I just ended up in situations where my sessions just always ended up, like I had 30 minutes or 25 minutes to hit something and I'd hit it. Yeah. You know, so I ended up the whole week, I just ended up in situations where I ended up just having that week by default and wanted to train the whole week.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example. Yesterday, right, I was in the warehouse.
Yeah.
I had a tyre, a cross beam.
Yeah.
There was just a random tyre in there for God knows what reason. There's a tyre in there. It was about this big, maybe, I don't know, 25 kilos or something, maybe 20 kegs, I don't know. Heavy and awkward. I had access to a tyre, cross beam, 2 stools and a wall.
Right, that's all you need.
I had a 25-minute workout, and I got and two protein tubs, right? So full.
Oh,
so
beautiful.
There was 2 things I was going to do with them, right? The first one was just like a fly where I hold, because they're like 2 kilos each. But I ended up using them for push-ups so I could submerge my chest lower than the things, right? So and you'll appreciate this. I had to hit boulders today, right? And I wasn't going to not hit boulders because I woke up going, I'm hitting boulders today, you know?
Yeah.
One of the best days of the week. So up on the cross beam, 12 pull-ups, 12 strict, good
nice.
depth, tension the whole time pull-ups.
Yeah.
12 of those, and then it was over to 2 stools.
Yeah.
Fly with a 1.5 second hold, 15 hold, so it's like fingers underneath.
Yeah.
Pull up, and then it was from that to there was 4 in the first one. What was the other one? I was just push-ups on the ground, pull-ups, stool raises, and then the tire got up onto my shoulders.
Overhead press,
right?
Oh,
and that was the first. That was the first one. Yeah, and then the second one was wall handstand push-ups.
Yep.
Got a wall.
Well, you got a wall.
Got a workout.
You got a wall. You can do whatever you want.
That's exactly right. So I was that, and then it was what else did I do? Can't remember. Another exercise. Might have just pushed my stools up. There was 2 in that one. I just put 25 minutes on the clock and went, let's go. That's it. You can always hit a workout. I used a tire, chairs, a cross beam, and a wall.
I think
got a good pump on.
You've also, since we've been training, you've kind of adapted the way you train. So you're starting to do more of that, like, fuck it, we'll do like an AMRAP 25.
That's the Mark influence.
Yeah.
That's your influence.
Yeah,
right?
just giving you some different ideas of like, you're like, oh yeah, we'll do this and then we'll do this. I'm like, hey, what if we just did all of those exercises?
I love how you look at training. Combination. I love how you look at training because mine was always numbers and sets. Yeah. You know? I'm
at a stage now, I get so over numbers. Like, it's more, I'm starting to go off feels.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that felt all right. Yeah. But I probably want to do like a few more reps.
Yeah.
Or even do like timed sets. So like
I love those since we did it.
Yeah.
Since we started doing that because it's you against you.
Yeah.
Like when you're training with the weights, it's you versus the weight.
Yeah.
I mean, we're only talking split difference in mental approach here, but when I look at the weight, I'm kind of like it's me versus the numbers where when it's 15 minutes, it's like it's me versus me and how far I go in this is on how far I decide to push.
And also, like, I find if you're doing those ones, your mentality will change with how you're, like, fueling yourself and how you've slept. And so if you're in more of a peak state, you've slept well, you have good food, you can do the same session 2 days in a row. One day you're well rested and fed well and whatnot. Smash it. The next day, or even if you did a week later, the next time you do it, if you had a shit sleep and fed well, you'll find like, oh, this is just fucking hard.
I'll find deadlifts will show that. I find out of every move, deadlifts, because they probably use your central nervous system the most.
Yeah.
Or it's a big lift anyway that requires a lot of it. So I find I'll have variance of 20 kilos, 30 kilos some days, right? 100%. I just go, wow, I can't. I'm going to die.
Well, there's actually like ways that people train now. It's called velocity-based training, where they just do the bar speed, because you can fluctuate day to day in your 1RM by up to just 18%. So if your RM,
that's huge.
1 RM is like 100.
Yeah.
Next day it could be like so it could be 120 or it could be 80.
Wow, that's massive.
This is like a 30-60
huge
variance.
Yeah.
Like what it can be just from obviously multiple factors, but that's why I kind of like that more. You just push yourself to like where you're at for the day.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Shall we check the cameras real quick?
I can see it on here.
Oh, so that one's good.
Yeah,
Mad.
And that one looks like it's recording.
Mad.
See, this is why I have you, because you think of stuff like that.
Yeah. But you're just on it. It's good. See, team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to chat to you about a concept I was chatting to Robert about.
Yeah.
and I've keyed the term, right?
Yeah.
It's called inertial fatigue, right? And because I felt it this year more than anything. And it's, you know how like a one night sleep isn't going to rejuvenate you from 6 months worth of just pushing yourself.
Yeah.
So what I like to call it is inertial fatigue. And that's where it's just like, it's months and months and months and months of pushing, not just in the gym,
but just in life.
Just in life. Energy expulsion across the board.
Yeah.
And then, I was chatting to Robert the other day, I'm like, man, I'm fatigued, and like I feel like a week's worth of sleep isn't going to do it. And I was thinking, I'm like, what's a good term for this?
Yeah.
Inertial fatigue. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean so there is like theories behind this as well. There's people researching about it. I don't know like what they call it, but that makes sense. Like you're just so fatigued that you're kind of stuck in that fatigue state.
Yeah.
So I'm not 100% what chronic fatigue is, but that's where you wouldn't have it because you can still do stuff, but people can just like walk upstairs and that's it for the day. Like they legitimately can't do anything else.
So what about with like people you train, and did you see them get 4 or 5 months into training and then you go, oh, they're just fatigued across the board? And so it doesn't matter how well they train or how well they sleep, they're fatigued full stop.
Yeah, so generally when we start, like me, but most coaches in their S&C role, if they start seeing that, it's time to change and recover. So you don't do the same stimulus, like because you're probably doing, depending on what it is, you've done so many different blocks, but you're kind of always working towards X. Yeah. That's where you kind of take a step back. So like, especially in like we'll talk about a rugby season.
Yeah.
So like you got your pre-season, and then you've got like your trials generally just like for maybe a month or 2 weeks before, and then you've got your season, in-season stuff, and then finals.
Yeah.
So if you smash yourself the whole time, you're going to perform in finals.
Yeah.
So generally what you do is you smash yourself in pre-season. So they do bulk work, get massive base going, get strong, get fit, get heavier, because you're going to lose that during the season.
Yeah.
Then in that trial period, that just before the trial period, you have a bit of a lull. So it's just taking that little bit of a deload. This is just depending on how you do it. This is how I would do it if I had a full pre-season for like the team of coaches. This is how we've done it. Yeah. So you have that little lull in that trial period. Yeah. So they're kind of feeling their body out. They're going to get bashed anyway because they're in the trial period. So they're still got to get that contact. They've got to get used to that as well. So it's kind of change of stimulus there. And then in the first half of the season, you're still working hard. You still want to be smashing it. And then the second half of the season, you'll go harder, but you work more on like increasing the power and the peak performance, little things, the 1%ers. And right before the last 3 weeks, 3 games, you taper off heaps. Yeah. It's called tapering period, basically. Yeah, okay. And then from there, you're going to be able to improve. So you get like an uptick in the performance. So you get that slight downtick or that down curve because they're going to be training less, but their body's recovering more. Yeah, and then it ticks up. So the idea of super compensation, you can get to a certain point, have a new like peak, and then you're going to get fatigued. And when you start coming down about halfway to like where you were originally, that's where you want to start recovering. So you get that better uptick. So
the metrics to measure fatigue are strictly just based off of their performance numbers. That's it. Is there any other measures of fatigue?
So many like fatigue. There's so much that we don't know about fatigue, and so many theories on it, and different ways that you can measure it. Yeah, you can measure it one way. I can measure it another way. Yeah, okay. But generally, it's just how the person's performing, how they're feeling. Like they might be performing well, but they might mentally be fucking shit. Like if you're talking to them mentally, and they're just like, dude, like you're fucking fried apart from on the field or in the gym. Like you need a rest. And you find if they have that rest for a week or two, and they still do some exercise, like you don't want to stop completely, but they're doing something that they enjoy. Fuck, go for a swim.
So the recovery period. Yeah, recovery is a fun little thing. It's certainly something I could learn.
I think most people can learn.
Yeah, hard. How do you know what? Look at this dog. He trains with us in podcast with us.
We've got a dog trying to steal the computer.
He hasn't caused us issues until right now.
No, just because Robert got here.
It's because Robert got here. Yeah.
Recovery is just like a shotgun. There's so many different options for recovery. You want to try and get as many done. And from what I've talked to like really elite coaches, they're just like, dude, legitimately, whatever the person likes to do and finds recovers best for them, tell them to do that.
Yeah, because it's not just nutrition based, it's mental.
Well, like obviously nutrition and hydration are massive.
Yeah.
Because you're going to perform, your body
that looks after the body.
It fixes you doing what you want. And then, so you've got nutrition, hydration. That's probably the only things that I would say everyone has to do.
Yeah.
Well, you got to do it anyway. But and then just scatter. Just if you like massages, go get a massage.
Then just start.
If you want to be in the sauna, go in the sauna. If you want to be in an ice bath,
go and jump in the ice.
Yeah.
You're like you two psychopaths.
Yeah. Got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, I ran into I had a friend yesterday. I booked an appointment with a kinesiologist.
Yeah.
Kinesiologist is just like an accepted term in the market for like someone who would perform Reiki or something like that, right? So
spiritual healer.
Yeah, exactly right, bro. Someone works with energy, right?
Yeah.
So I caught up with her yesterday, and her big thing was, and she has this really cool process. She draws like all these cards and different things first.
Yeah.
And hers, it was what she drew, and like I drive into that was like, it's going to be all about self-care, right? Because this year has been a year of just drag myself through it and grow, right? Yeah. And so one of her biggest things was the cards she drew basically all pointing towards. There's two main points. She said it was it's not a lifetime. It's not a season thing. It's a lifetime thing. And the other one was water your garden, which basically just means self-care.
Yeah.
Look after it. So I actually got that. That was one thing. One takeaway from my yesterday was, all right, stop. And the big thing was get better. The only thing I need to do is do nothing. The one thing I'm not good at doing is not doing.
Yeah.
You know?
Not always being on, like not always progressing, not always.
Yeah.
And that's a massive thing. Like too many people are so focused on like, rah, 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 rah. But if they take a step back, they can actually look around and go, oh, I'm fucking 50 meters off the fucking track I'm meant to be.
Yeah, and you know, I read something cool the other day, and it was like, it was just like a little prophecy thing. I can't remember what it was. It was like I seeked and I racked my brain for the truth, and I looked and I looked and I looked, and it wasn't until I jumped into a river and I was still, the truth just came flooding in.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just like, it's not, and you get progress by stopping, by recovering, you know? Yeah. So it's not just the physical part, like the hydration and the nutrition, it's the mind.
Yeah, the mind really controls your recovery in the long run. It will recover.
Because
it will tell you it will be like, no, you need to do this body.
Yeah. Where
you can't be like, oh, I broke my arm. Recover.
Yeah, your habits and disciplines are like time to train.
Yeah. It will do what it does.
Yeah.
And you've got to just let the mind take control sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, stop.
As much as you can put out into the world, sometimes you need to sit still so it can find you.
Yeah, and when you sit still, what do you do? Yeah, Mark's like, I don't.
No, I do sit still a lot. I do meditate every morning. Robert can attest to that.
Is that your swim? That's your form of meditation?
No, so I actually meditate before I swim. So, funny story.
True.
Robert pulls up. I'm meditating. My eyes are shut. I do it in the car before I swim. So I'm like 10-minute meditation.
Yeah.
Robert comes up, fucking bangs on my window.
True Julia style.
Yeah. And he's like, what the fuck are you doing? Are you sleeping? I'm like, no, bro, I'm meditating. Yeah. He's like, oh, sorry. I'm like, sorry. I looked at the time. It was like 1 minute left. I was like, it's whatever.
It's done. Yeah.
It was so funny. He's just like banging on the door. Wake up!
So when you meditate, what's your mental process? Like when I meditate, I have a lot of, actually before we jump on that, this was one thing yesterday as well. Her name's Annabelle, the kinesiologist I saw. It was, it's funny. It was a bit of a call out. It's like even when I'm meditating, I'm still trying to achieve. I'm sitting there visualizing, and I'm like, I can still level myself up by visualizing this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and she's just like, don't.
Yeah.
You know, it's like even when I'm supposed to be stopping, I'm still trying to achieve by stopping.
100%.
Just a funny little thing.
So I actually have an app I follow.
Yeah.
It's kind of guided.
Yeah.
And just gives you a mantra of
Yeah.
So all I try and do is not necessarily focus on it, but have that going. And when a thought comes in, once you you go, okay, there's a thought, then you just try and work back to it. So you're not trying to force it, you're not trying to do anything. Just realize you're having the thought, realize what it's happening, and then take 2 steps back.
That's cool. Yeah. So I'll sit down when I'm trying to still my mind. I'll sit down and let it run around like a little child for a while. It goes ballistic, and then it calms down, and then the thoughts slow. And as they start to slow, same thing. I just picture the thought in like a blue ball of energy, and then I just push it away. And the next one comes in, and I push it away. Yeah. And then eventually,
balls are away.
The balls, they're all gone. It stops, and then I'm still.
Yeah.
You know.
Or occasionally, I don't want to necessarily do a meditation. I will sit there and I will focus on my breathing. Nice and simple.
Yeah.
Just do a box count. So 4 inhale, 4 hold, 4 exhale, 4 hold, 4 reps. Take a few breaths off, back to it. And it's more like a mindfulness practice rather than necessarily a meditation practice.
You know, I heard something cool the other day too. It was, I think it was Deepak Chopra. Is that his name? Deepak Chopra.
I'm going to let you say that.
Yeah, right. So I saw this bloke the other day.
Yeah, you saw Deepak?
Yeah, I saw Deepak the other day. He said, what was his quote? It was something like, everyone calls it mindfulness, and I do not like this term because it should be an empty mind. Yeah. You know, everyone's trying to get mindfulness when it
should be mindlessness.
Which should be mindlessness. Yes, exactly right. Yeah.
Well, mindlessness then. Yeah, but no, I get what you mean. You want to empty the mind.
Empty the mind,
yeah. Another way to think of it, if you don't take that step back, so it's not necessarily stressing, but if you think of your mind as a cup, if you're always going, that cup's going to get to a certain point and be full. Yeah. If you don't take that step to empty that cup a bit, you're not going to have any more work or bandwidth or any capacity to then take on more. So if something drastic happens, God forbid, you get a call, mum's been in a car accident, a fatal car accident, you'll just break down.
Cup overflows.
Yeah, cup overflows and then you're going to have mental breakdown. It's so much harder. But if you take that step back and refresh, you can get rid of some of the stuff that's just nonsense, really.
It's just residue.
It's just in there, from whatever, from past experiences or from past achievements that you haven't actually then gone, okay, cool, I've done that, now I can move on.
So there's a few ways that I like to deal with all that stuff. The first is if I ever sit down to take that time for my mind, I'll work through things like that visually, right? Like visualizations. My strongest meditations are visualizations. And then I have people like Annabelle I'll go and see who they perform, they get rid of that energy residue, that leftover shit. You know, what are your processes? Get rid of that leftover energy shit.
There's not too many wild ones.
Yeah.
I'll just go find a quiet spot in nature somewhere and chill.
Some people think that's wild though. Yeah. It's not wild to you.
Yeah.
Because you're primal.
Yeah. I love getting in amongst nature.
Yeah.
That's massive. It takes so little energy to do, but sometimes it's that, I don't want to drive to wherever to go for a bushwalk, or I don't want to go sit, I don't want to drive to the beach and deal with all the people. But once you do it, you're like, oh, fuck, why have I done this a week ago?
And that recharge, that grounding for you, mine's definitely trees and dirt. Other people love the water, the salt. Which one is it for you? I feel like you're a tree man.
I'm both.
Both, yeah.
Depending on what it is, sometimes it's I need to get in the water.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's I need to get in the bush.
I find the salt cleansing and the trees and the dirt grounding.
Yeah. So if I need to be cleansed, it's the same thing. I go for a swim in the ocean. I at times don't even take my phone. I just take my keys. Yeah. Just so there's no weird energy coming in.
Fucking electronics. What you trying to escape?
Too many electronics, mate. Too many.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, I know. I fry my brain up all day growing things.
All you do is sit looking.
All I do is sit on. Yeah.
All right. Well, one thing I do want to touch on is obviously part of the technical side of things.
Yeah.
How'd you get into photography? Give me a bit of a background.
Yeah, man. So so my entire approach to life, Mark, is just tumbling with the wind, right? I follow and I use my internal navigation for that. I go, I'll go this way now, and then the wind takes me the rest of the way, right? It's part of my faith in the universe, right? So I started a graphics and design degree at uni.
Yeah. Any reason behind that?
No. I opened the book up. I had to pick something to strive towards. I opened up the book, which had all the ATAR marks in them, and I pointed at one. I'm like, that's creative. I'm kind of creative. I'll aim at that one. Right? Very much tumbling in the wind.
Yeah, beautiful. That's what we're doing.
I shut my eyes and went, yep, page 34. So that's how I know. It was like 72 the mark or something, or 74. Yeah. I think I got it on the money as well. So ended up at uni for this degree called visual communication design. It was a bit of a joke. I could write a better degree than that. What I thought I would learn from the degree, the main things I thought I would learn, they thought was assumed knowledge. So all the students turned up expecting to learn all the Adobe suites and how to actually build the skill sets, and we were told it was assumed knowledge. So we didn't. That look on your face is how that degree is. What is that degree, right?
So basically we're going to teach you how to do things that you should already know.
Yeah, it was weird, right? They didn't think it out, right? It was just we were the punching bag for new syllabus. So half the kids chose Illustrator and other ways to digitally submit their assignments. Yeah. I chose a camera.
Yeah.
Half the kids chose cameras, half didn't. They're like, we think you'll need a camera for this degree, but we're not sure. You should probably get one, but we don't know if you'll use it. So I was one of the kids that went out and got a camera. Because I bought a camera, I used it.
Well, yeah, I mean, if I'm buying a camera, it probably wasn't a cheap camera either.
No, I think at the time it was like $600.
Yeah, as a student,
$600. As a 17-year-old, that's a lot of noodles as a student, you know.
That's probably like a month's worth of me.
It's a lot. It's a lot, bro. Like let's be honest. If I lost $600, I'd know about it. So anyway, I picked. I went to do all that. That's how I got into. That's how I got a camera in my hands. I got good at a camera though, not from the degree. I ended up in America on exchange for a year, right?
Yeah.
Some wild stories from that, but I got good at a camera because every time I went out to go climb a mountain or go to a frat party or something, I took it. I took the camera. I used it for 12 months straight doing adventures. I did film courses over there as well, but it was much the same at home. We got good at filmmaking by watching films, which made no sense to me. So I actually got good at a camera.
Seems like a very American thing to do.
Yeah, it's a dumb thing to do, which is very human and it's common.
Yeah.
So I got good at a camera, not from the courses, but
because you're doing it.
I got my hands dirty, right?
Yeah.
And then I had 6 weeks to kill before I came home. And I passed all my assignments with flying colours. So I went down to the editing room, forced the senior students to let me in, and then forced them to teach me how to edit. And so I learned how to edit. And so I edited 12 months of footage into 13 film clips, basically, for when I come home, because I wanted to show everyone what my year was like.
Yeah.
And that's where I first learned the process. And then I come back. I had a job at Crown Plaza I was working at.
Which we both have worked at.
We both have worked at. We both
half
know
of Newcastle.
Not fun.
It's like 1 degree of separation in that place.
Yeah. Everyone goes through there eventually.
Yeah.
So I come back. I did half a shift, and then I walked out. I just had enough. Dad's killing the audio right now.
Can't really hear it. It's all good.
Good. So I did half a shift there and walked out. My first shift back. It was me, and there was 13 girls. And I love female company, bro, but they were not workers. Female, male, don't care, not workers. And I was standing there thinking to myself, wow, there's a lot of jobs that need to be done. And then they're all just standing there talking. I was like, this is not for me. I just did a year of independence, of learning who I am, of self-development, of living a big, exciting, energetic life, to come back to this.
To basically run everyone else's life and make them get money?
No, so I walked out of that first shift and never looked back. They called me and said, you coming, what's happening? I said, I'm not coming back, not for me. So dealt with that. Had another job at the local pub for 4 weeks, and then that was also not for me. And then I picked up a camera. I had a mate who said, your video clips are good, why don't you take some photos for me? Took some photos as a personal trainer, so took some photos for him. He's great at what he does. Good friend of mine, so took some photos for him.
Edited them up.
They were good. His mate got in contact with me, another personal trainer. good group of people. They all got in touch, did videos for that, and then I called a gym in town and said, hey, I'm trying to increase my portfolio with this. I didn't know what I was doing, right? Trying to increase my portfolio with this. I'll come in, take some photos if you let me come in. Yeah. Basically, that was the deal. So I came in, they said, do you do film? And I said yes, because
why not?
Why not? I said yes, and then just worked it out.
Yeah.
And that's how I got into it. And then I just tumbled into every other business from there and grew and then got smarter and consumed a lot of knowledge, and here I am. So that's how I got
what was your best way to learn? Because people ask me all the time about like how to get better at photography and videography.
And pick it up, do it.
Yeah,
shit.
Like I'll just say more reps. Generally,
but you would
like,
say more reps.
Yeah,
that's a very Coach Greenham thing to say.
You know actually what
I'd say get your hands dirty. You'd say do
legitimately
more reps.
My answer is just be better.
What would Robert say?
Robert's bailed. I feel like he would say be better.
Yeah, he would say be better. You say more reps.
Yeah, I say more reps and just be better. Like but if you were going to say like one source for people to start looking at for how to get better, like obviously you need to do it more, but learning little tricks and stuff. Like you teach me stuff all the time. But I've also do a lot of research. Like I use YouTube and little tutorials here and there. Yeah. But is there any one place you would go?
To find the knowledge or just to get better?
Just to find the knowledge. Like obviously you need the knowledge so then you can do the reps together.
Yeah, that's right. I would before I looked at getting the knowledge, I just walk out and get your own. Just walk out and collect what you can. Yeah. And then go and look at the knowledge, and then you can compare. Yeah. Go and go, oh, what are the pros saying? What have I done? Go, oh, you know what? I actually consciously thought that while I was taking that photo. Hey, maybe I'm pretty good at this. Yeah.
100%. I mean? Like they've got to start somewhere. But once they're in and they're going, you just say like then start looking at some of what the pros do.
Yeah, I'd start looking at YouTube. Yeah. Shit, when I started, YouTube wasn't a thing. It was just, I would base it off of the movies. I would base it off of like, how do they frame it in the movies? Like they always, when there's always a scene of someone talking, you'll see they always just chop the top of their head off. For some reason, it just looks more cinematic. So then when I was like trying to do a film or something, I did the same thing. Or they were like in films, they're huge on something called the rule of thirds, where it's the screen, they always would just put someone's eye in a shot would be on like right on where that grid, where that 30 is. So when I started taking photos, I do the same thing. I just mimicked what the big guys were doing, shit. Yeah. And then because I kept putting the reps in and just kept going, my own style developed. Yeah, 100%. Building from all those basic principles. Yeah, because you kind of go, I like kind of like that thing and I like this thing and I like that. And exactly right. Yeah, exactly right. And I know like for instance, when you're doing like bodybuilding shows, like I've shot a few of those as well, and guys like to look big. When you take a shot when something's shown from a low angle, it looks bigger. So I drop the angle low, and then before you know it, it's low shots look good across the board. So then I hit that hard for a month, and then I see something else while I'm doing it. I go, oh, that kind of works, and then I hit that hard for a month, and that develops into another skill, you know? Yeah,
and then just learn how the transitions work and little things like that. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
What would be your number one thing that you've filmed, put together as a whole project?
Ooh. What's the thing I enjoyed the most? Whatever.
Like what would be your top project that you've done?
Well, if I was going to be all nostalgic in an answer, I'd say the American films I made where I first started probably mean the most to me. Yeah. Because that was sort of everything for me, you know. I still get a little teary when I watch some of them. Like it's awful quality, but it's about storytelling.
It's more about the journey that you know, backstories and you know everything about it.
That's right. Yeah, it all holds a lot more for me
and significance.
So that if I was going to be nostalgic, I'd say that we come more into a business sense. The Africa trip, I filmed that. Filming the bow hunting trip with Ozcut was incredible. That anything with an adventure behind it is always better. Yeah, you know,
somewhere where there's a good storyline too.
Where there's a story, exactly.
Where it's not just like, oh, here's a video. Like,
no,
everyone can do here's a video.
No, good. What? This is a good tip as well. What makes my style good is I pour a lot of myself into it. Like I go, what story would I like to see from this? Yeah, you know,
like how do I tell the customers from the business perspective a story about the business?
Yeah, and it's like what makes me emotional watching this, it's probably going to make everyone else emotional watching this. So I'll put a song on it. I'm like, wow, that song absolutely floors me when I put this person's eyes and that hand shaking on the screen.
Yeah.
I watch that and go, wow, that really got me. That's going to work.
Yeah.
And so I just play on what hits me the hardest, and I build my films and my stuff around that.
100%. That's actually how I've been doing my videos.
Awesome.
Kind of, I just like, I reckon this would look cool, and then try, and if I think it looks cool and like it, I'm like, fuck yeah, it makes me want to go do something.
Yeah.
Then that's how I roll.
Yeah, and you want to learn like when we took that shot of like where we had the downlight in, and it puts all the heavy shadows and everything. So you just things like that where you pick the camera up in those moments. The next time you're in a situation where there's heavy downlight and someone's muscly, you go, hey, go jump under that light.
Yeah,
let's try that. But that's how you learn.
Yeah, 100%. I think also like not necessarily being with someone that also is a photographer or creative, but just being with someone else. And if you're taking a photo and you show them and they're like, oh, but what about this idea? Yeah. It just gives you a slightly different perspective. That change of perspective can then adjust throughout the whole time.
Yeah.
I've had people that aren't photographers and stuff go, hey, what about trying this type of shot? Yeah. And you're like, oh, yeah, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, everyone has their own creative flow. Yeah. They really do. You know, I just train mine every day. I train mine like I train the gym. It gets worked every day. So mine grows, you know. And the skill sets improve. You work out ways to fine tune the skills, fine tune the results from the skills, and you just get better across the board. 100%. You know. So that's how I got good at it. Africa would be probably one of my favorite things I film with cameras, just because it has a big story behind it for me.
Yeah.
Things that mean the most would be what I filmed in America. That's where it all started for me. A lot of nostalgia there. Some other fun jobs. I had a tough one. I went away in March where we did bushfire relief. Did it with charity, Waves of Wellness.
I've seen some photos. They're amazing.
Yeah, that was fun, bro. That was tough. That was tough.
Emotionally, that would have been emotionally
tough. Yeah, because I remember one of the first conversations I had. I walked in, and I'm the guy pointing the camera, bro. People don't like a camera pointing at them at the best of times, let alone when they've lost everything and they think that you're using them. Like they're in a fish tank. Yeah, they think you're leveraging off their situation, right? It actually took about 3 or 4 days of me being down there before I could pick up a camera and point it at anyone.
Yeah, you got to build those relationships.
Yeah, so that was tough for a lot. That was tough for a lot of reasons. One, I like to get in there and get the job done, tick boxes early. So it took me 3 days before I could even fulfill my professional capacity within myself, how I would handle a job. 2, the emotional trauma of chatting to people who've lost everything. That was a lot as well. That was a tough one, but that was a great trip because it has a story. Man, I don't even know how many businesses I've filmed for. I looked at a hard drive the other day and there was like over 80 films on it from that was 2016 when I was slow.
Yeah, right.
You know, when I was moving slow. That was 80 films across, you know, that would have been 70 businesses in 1 year.
That would have been about when we met.
Yeah, probably.
2016.
Strength Republic,
Yeah, strength.
It had over 80 films. It was 70 films, can't remember. It would have been for... there was a lot of businesses on there, like load of businesses on there. So I've been in so many situations, very grateful to be in. A lot of people I've met. It's a good industry to be in. It's very, you meet a lot of people doing it.
Yeah. I find it's kind of inclusive as well because you always get like included into the business that you're going to be working with, it seems like. Because you need to be able to tell their story so you get more time with them to learn about them a bit more. So,
I get a lot closer to them than their accountant does, that's for sure.
Yeah, 100%, where people just see numbers or they see like the facade of what the business is. Like, hey, it's a gym, has good weights. Yeah, you get to meet the people behind it.
And I find even just from my personality alone, I just want to know, I'm just interested by them. What they 100%. Do, how their business works, who they are. 100%. I find that's interesting to me. So I think naturally I get in deeper anyway, just because of personality traits then, let alone the trade just backs that up.
Yeah, 100%. That's kind of why I started the podcast because like it's a good way to meet people and talk about interesting stuff rather than just, as we said, have those superficial conversations.
Yeah.
Which I'm not a fan of.
No, we say under the surface.
Under the surface.
So
we want an inch wide and a mile deep rather than a mile wide and an inch deep.
That's right. So we've covered pilot episode, right?
Yeah.
We've gone bow hunting.
Yep.
We've gone fitness, recovery, training, the origin of training for both of us. We've gone business, career. Don't love the word career, let's just say it.
life. I like
life.
it. Life.
What else?
I don't even like calling it business. I like calling it life.
Life.
That's kind of where I see myself moving. More like, this is what I do. Buy some shit.
Yeah.
Like, kind of, I like taking photos. Here's photos I take. If you want to buy some, buy some. I know how to do fitness. Here's some fitness stuff. Yeah. Do some fitness. I'm going to eventually learn how to do skydiving and some other things. Like, this is me doing that. Hope it inspires you to just chase your stuff.
Yeah, I love what you're building.
Yeah.
I love what you're building.
So where do you see your next moves going? Like, obviously, if you have some secret stuff, you don't have to explain it.
I can let a little out. Big plans, right? Being executed on. This year's a work year for me. This is if you look at like astrological charts and things like that, I'm in year 4 out of 5. Year 4 is a work year. Hence why I've just been working non-stop. 2 proper catch-ups this year. So the system that I built this year is built for scale.
Yeah.
My next thing is me out of the field and me reaching more people with a bigger system. That's it. So there's so many places at once I need to be in throughout the week, whereas what I'm building now, it can cover everyone without me building that. I can still build everyone's creative vision, skill sets that they don't have.
Yeah. Without actually physically being there.
Without having to be there. So this is a way for me to drastically increase my network, look after all my friends, all the business owners I've travelled along with at one stage. This is a way to cover all of them at once. So my next thing is upwards and onwards with business. This is it. This is just one of the many things I'll do. This is just it right now. So this is building almost built. And then it's continuing the gym, continue growing. Tumble with the wind, mate.
That's it. Just tumble along with the lines and the tracks you got.
That's right.
I like it.
Fine.
I like it. Have you launched that?
Not in the market yet. I haven't launched. I have 11 on board now, probably 15 within the next week. And I don't need to hit market yet. So I'm going to keep it under market. I'm going to keep it under market until the system's built. It's ready for scale. At the moment, I have 11 business sample size I'm collecting data off of and doing a very good job for. So I'm happy with how it's going. So I'll hit market at some stage soon.
Yeah. Awesome.
No rush.
Well, I mean, I know what it is.
Yeah, you know.
And I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
But I think other people will be. Yeah. It'll be very beneficial as well.
Yeah, it's a bit of a game changer
especially in the natural the natural climate we're in now, where you need to be out there. You need to be constant
in
with
the digital space.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a game changer in the content development side of things. It's going to be a bit of a disruptor. So I'm excited about it.
That's very good, though.
Very excited about it.
All right, well, that's about an hour and a half, if you would believe it.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, fast.
I don't want to leave Robert over sitting in the corner for too much longer.
Anything else you want to touch on, mate?
Not me, no.
I was asking you because your podcast.
Yeah, I know.
I'm the guest, mate.
You're the guest. What would you, any final thoughts, feelings, things you want to say? Shout out to Chino.
Yeah, shout out to Chino. Always in my corner, babe. Thank you.
That one's off.
Yeah.
I'm not going to voice that.
Mark's going to send you a kiss as well.
Yeah.
Final thoughts? Nah.
None?
Nah, my hands are dirty because I'm working. Yep. My mind's clear. I have lessons to learn. A big one, as we spoke about before, for me now is the next thing I need to learn how to do is not do. So that's what's upcoming for me, mate.
Just be. You need to just be.
My final words will be in 100 years' time. And I'll let them go then. So for now, brother, thank you for having me on.
Thanks for having me at your beautiful home. By the way, this is the gym we train in. And
this is it.
This is, I don't even know what to say. This is just where we get amongst it.
This is it. Yeah. This is where the hands get dirty, the reps get put in.
Yeah. This is where we build amazing people.
We build our better selves.
All right. Thank you.
Mate, thank you very much.